Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Few other venues on the planet can match Indianapolis Motor Speedway for its history, spectacle, and sheer speed. Hallmarks of this track since its earliest days. And while the famous Indianapolis 500 might not quite pack the same punch as what it did once in its heyday, it still remains one of the world's greatest world races, filling each May with a sense of drama and intrigue, but not quite as much as the 20th of November 2022, because it's the season finale of the ARL truck season. Here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I'm Tim Cox with Charles Michel. South Pit Patrick is back in the production trailer, working his magic behind the scenes once again. And Charles, after 2 weeks away, having to cover other duties here on Apex Racing TV, it's like coming home to a lovely home-cooked meal by your parents, you know, on a lazy Sunday. You just can't beat it. It's so wholesome and welcoming back. And, well, what a way to round out the season here at Indy.
Yeah, Tim, welcome back. Obviously, we've done a couple other series, but it's nice to have you back here doing the ovals with us. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's not really a NASCAR track, but you know, the NASCAR group really loves coming here to the Brickyard. It's just an amazing track. It's basically two drag strips, you know, separated by, you know, 4 90-degree corners. So it's very flat. So it's going to be a fun race. It's going to be a very interesting race to watch. And we're going to crown a champion at the end of this. So it's going to be, you know, makes it that much more special.
It certainly is. We've got practice. Well, that's just coming to a close right now. They've got about, let's be precise here. They have got 2 minutes and 15 seconds left remaining no, 3 minutes and 15. I completely you see, you can tell I've been away for a week. Completely miscalculated that one before we head out into qualifying. Drivers have 5 minutes in which to set their 4 best laps. It's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze around here there, Charles, isn't it? Because a 50-second lap at full chat, and let's face it, some of these times are going to be set, you know, they're all slipstreaming as well, which you're not going to have the luxury of during qualification. It's going to be a little bit tight, isn't it, to get those full amount of laps in?
It really is. And yeah, as I said earlier, this is, you know, you're going to have 2 really good draft lanes, the front stretch and the back stretch. You're going to get a big run down into turn 1 and turn 3. But then when you hit that corner, because you don't have what these guys are used to is laying on some banking and letting it help turn the truck, there's just not as much of that here. So it makes it very difficult. Passing in the corners is going to be at a premium. Even the Indy cars struggle trying to get too wide through these corners safely. So that's going to be probably the most intriguing part of this.
Oh, you've tempted fate now, Charles, haven't you? You watch it. There'll be two lines around the track for the whole race long. After you've said that one, it seems to be how it works here. In many of the Apex leagues, we saw it in the F3 series earlier season this up from Sam covered live from the studios at Apex Towers, where Sam thought shouldn't be able to overtake around there. It should be a really boring, mundane race, was how Sam dubbed it in the build-up. I didn't quite work out with that one. It was a really mental race with loads of overtaking, great action, loads of wheel-to-wheel racing, and a really notoriously troublesome track for overtaking. So I'm sure we'll experience a few bits of it, undoubtedly. Let's take a look at those championship standings, though. Of course, deep into the playoffs now after we made the split. And Ruse, well, it's going to take a lot for him to be knocked off the top here, because his closest contender, Pascal Sticks, he's still got a chance to make it into the session, but he is not here. Next closest is Jonas Gunnarsson, who he is currently, well, he's been running fourth in practice, whereas Ruse has been running first. But even so, that is a big margin to make up, and it's going to take a big result. Schnabel is only 1 point behind Gunnarsson, then Leitner, Salander, Halfordardson, and Hutchinson. Hutchinson, one of the big shots, he's just sort of squeezed it in right at the depth into the playoffs. He currently lies at the bottom of that section. And then in the non-playoff drive as well, Sven Newman, he's had some cracking races this season. In 9th, there's Blix, Spetsmuller, Sufi, Solo, Blakesley taking 15th place. And as for the teams, well, Alcantech, they've been very dominant. And it's the Almatech team that leads the way by 3 points over the Nyman Racing outfit. Core Racing in 3rd, not far behind, though, at 14 points adrift from the leading Alcantech team. And Wallaby, they are 4th, SRSR, Evo, Indy, Vulcan, Flemish, and the 3rd Alcantech team all the way down in 10th. Not going as well as the other 2 sister teams, but qualification just about get underway now. And let's have a bit of a mention to one of our sponsors, VRS, or Virtual Racing Schools they're called, with data packs for road and oval racing. They also have a built-in data analysis software, allows you to compare your laps against others and see exactly what lines they're taking. And also they have a whole raft of weekly group coaching sessions and much, much more. You can check them out if you want to go faster, on track for road and oval racing. On board with Lennart Schnabel. Wow. Who is going to take pole, the final pole, in fact, of the season? I mean, you've got this, it's challenging, isn't it, Charles? Because no, you haven't got anyone to slipstream off, so it all comes down to raw talent now. Yep,
it's just about hitting your marks. And I will say this, as I'm sitting here watching timing and scoring, Pascal Sticks is in, and he is qualifying. So, which is going to obviously make the championship a good battle here in the last race of the season.
Well, he's left that late, hasn't he? And he's on his outlap. And just looking at the clock, Charles, I think he's only going to get 3 out of his 4 flying laps in here. I don't think he's going to make the full bunch because he's joined so late. I could be wrong. I could have miscalculated this a little bit, but it will be tight for him, yeah, because, I mean, Salander is pretty much the furthest around the track, and what? He's only on his first flying lap right now.
Yep, it's going to be tight, but hey, you know what? He's here, and so if he's here, he's got a chance, right? So, yeah.
Well, all it takes is that 1 lap as well.
Exactly right. Yeah, you just need 1 good lap, and yeah, it's you know, with no draft, it's all about hitting your marks, right? Carrying the most speed through the corners that you can carry, and just keeping the truck in a straight line. As we see, looks like a couple of them are resetting and going back in, getting fresh tires. Obviously, I think at every race we've covered this season, that's not named Daytona or Talladega, tires are at a premium, so it's going to be very interesting to watch that during the course of the race also.
So Newman is the provisional pole sitter, and quite a few of the drivers electing to 1 lap, back in, fresh tyres, top up with fuel, go back out again. As we're at the halfway stage in qualifying. Oh, that is Andrew Roos going quicker than Sven Newman there. That is with a 52.7. So that's nearly a full 2 tenths quicker than Newman. That's a blistering lap from him. And Pascal Six, well, he joined late, but I'll tell you what, his first time at 53.02. Not even good enough for 5th right now. And yet to set up, well, let's even take the track so far is Blakesley, Halford Darson, Hayder. They've elected to stay in. And I mean, Charles, is this one of these tracks where we've seen it, especially at the big super speedways, where you run up high for the first lap, build up that speed, and then come down low for your flying lap? Or are you just better off just running it like a normal lap for both your out lap and your fast lap?
I think you want to. I think you want to run it very close to how you would normally race it, because the corners are 90 degrees, and so it's not like your standard tri-oval where you can kind of feather the throttle and roll through. This is going to require braking, and corner entry is going to be at a premium. So you want to be out wide when you enter that corner to give yourself the straightest line possible.
So we're on board with Roos there, coming through turn 2. Lovely sound of screwing V8s.
I love that shot of the wall coming out of that corner, because you can see how much in GT terms slip angle. How much the rear end of that truck steps out as you're trying to navigate.
Oh, he's in the wall.
There. Yep.
He's clipped the wall, and that's going to be his time deleted. So Roos will not get time to go again. That's going to be him done and dusted in qualifying, because that's, well, even if his lap wasn't invalidated, he still would have gone slower. I mean, it's definitely from the amount he's getting out of the flock there. But this is Styx, and what can he do? So we're running down into the last 20 seconds of qualifying. It's going to be tight and close for the Toyota Core Sim Racing driver. I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? Especially with saying it's hard to pass around here, Charles. Surely qualifying high up is going to be your best possible option of taking to Victory Road. Yeah,
because the later you get in the race, the more difficult that, getting that run and diving to the inside is going to be. Because they're not going to be as friendly later in the race as they are at the beginning. So it's going to be, it's the closer you get to the front, the better off you're going to be.
Well, as Gunnarsson, he slipped a time in right at the depth there to go second to demote Newman down to the third. But Andrew Roos takes your final pole position of this evening, with Gunnarsson on the front row with him. Newman and Hutchinson make up your second row, with Solander and Leitner on the third row. Pascal Stick starts back in 7th, with Lennart Schnabel for company on the 4th row, with Blix and Spetzmuller. Well, they round out your top 10 on the 5th row of the grid. Mark Redford, previous race winner earlier in the season, he starts 11th alongside Skylar Atkinson, with Kevin Kisselman, another one who's ran early in the season. He's got Jason Neverett for company on the 7th row of the grid. The 8th row is Caitlin Hayden with Brandon Blakesley. Didn't set times, those two. The final position, 17th. Michael Halford-Darson starts all by himself on the 8th row of the grid. Wow. Everyone just taking to the grid spots right now before we get underway for the formation lap behind the pace truck. That's what's going to be, I think, a bit of a voyage into the unknown here. And we've got 48 laps. We do have an hour and 20 minutes in which to complete those in. But as we saw, well, as I missed it, the war of attrition that was Phoenix, we actually ran out of time there. It became a time race rather than a lap race because the clock ran down.
Yeah, it just we had so many cautions. We just ran out of time, couldn't finish it. I'm hoping that this one is much cleaner. But as I was watching practice, when these drivers get on the older tires and we get into the middle of this race, this track's gonna be very, very tricky to handle.
As they head off behind the pace truck and get ready for what's going to be an intriguing evening of racing here at Apex Racing TV from the Brickyard. How many cautions will we experience? Who will come out victorious? Will it be Ruse or Blixt taking the championship? So Ruse or Sticks there, I thought. Oh, where's that? Just a bit of a drop back there. Bit of mind games coming in there from the Alcantech machine there of Jonas Gunnarsson. Trying to find their way around, just get a little, well, just get the truck up to temperature, but not just want to save as much fuel so you can run in as deep just in case we go caution free for so long on this opening lap, Charles.
Yeah, that I think that's probably the least of their problems. I think all they're worried about is just trying to get through turn one. You know, because like I said, this is the the early part of the race. They're too wide. Obviously, they're as close together as they're going to be until the next caution flag. So this is a very critical start.
It is. There were the championship standings, just to refresh your memory. As we come through turn 4, pace truck will be pulling in, and we will be going green, and we will be going racing. It's the pace truck. There you go. It peels off as Andrew Roos takes control of the pack. Everyone bunching up. It's going to be tight. Let's get ready to go racing for the final time this evening. And look at the 7 of Sen Newman sneaking up the inside there. And it looks like he's going to come from the second row to control of the pack at this early stage. What a blinding... There's contact in the middle. We reckon we're going to have a caution surely here at this opening lap. And there's, I think it's 2 Alcantech cars got into one another. Schnabel was one and Blix the other.
Wow. That's crazy. But what a great move by Newman. Looks like Roos just didn't get a good start. Don't know if he may spun the tires, but Newman got a really good jump and was able to take the bottom of the track and take the lead.
It was just wow. I mean, I think he must. It's just gambled on getting a bit of a run on Roos and Gunnarsson, and it was one of those things, Charles, isn't it, that once in a lifetime, it pays off on you. 90% of the time, it doesn't, and you end up having to check up a bit. But this time, it absolutely worked, an absolute treat for him.
Absolutely did. So we're going to see the replay here of the accident.
Yeah, so
Newman makes that good run to the inside, gets in front of Roos. Okay, so yeah, it's just got Redford down on the grass. He got kind of pushed down, and obviously the grass is not where you want to be in real life or in iRacing. And he absolutely just came back up on the track and hit the 95, and it was a cascade effect at that point.
Well, crucially, Redford got a bit of a tap in that, but it was 3 Alcantech cars that ended up making contact with one another. As there you go, there's the rotation. You can see Redford tap, and then there you go, right at the back. I was trying to catch who that would have been. I think it would have been Halford Darson, who just made a bit of contact coming through. Obviously, where you had Blix and Schnabel spinning around on one another as people are into pit lane already. Didn't even get past turn 1.
Yeah, I think everybody that's got damage is probably coming in and taking their fast repair now, so they can get back out on the track. And of course, it's if you can keep the truck clean, it'll be fine for the rest of the race. You're not gonna lose a lap. You got plenty of time, but now you're at the back of the pack. Yeah, and so we were talking about the grass earlier. There's a concrete curb down on the inside of these corners that's also very, very tricky. It has a tendency to kind of either make the truck loose or kick the truck back up the track, depending on how you hit it, which probably didn't help and probably contributed to that accident.
These drivers, well, just Charles mentioned there, in terms of fast repairs, the drivers get 1 per race, just the 1. And the fact that we've had, 5 drivers, at least 4, having to utilise that at this early stages. I'm not too sure on Blandon Blakesley. It looked like to me like he got through there okay. Or a bit of a tactical thing there from from Blakesley, just to manoeuvre himself around a little bit and get into a spot where he's on a slightly alternate strategy remains to be seen. But that's not what you want to do, is it, Charles? Because,
No.
you know, this is a long old race.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's, you know, it's 2.5 mile track. So we're running basically 100 miles, I think, or is that right? I don't know. I think that may be right. But so anyway, so yeah, it's going to be a long race, 48 laps. You don't want to take your fast repair on lap 2, just, you know, because now you have to be very, very careful to avoid any other contact during the rest of the race. Because if you get more damage, you either have to carry it or you have to retire it. So, so it should be very interesting.
I've done the maths for you. 120 miles.
Okay, cool.
There you go. Save that by the aid of the calculator. Pace trick is in. We're going to go green once again. Second time this season. Oh no, this isn't live. Sorry, apologies. I got all a bit excited then. I thought, this is going to be quickly.
Yep.
I mean, just shows that the restart he got there. Send Newman.
Yeah, and you can see that concrete curb on the inside also as they make the corner, which, like I said, is very tricky, especially if you've ever tried to run the Indy 500 at iRacing. You know, if you get the front tire down on that corner, you're basically backward and into the wall.
So this is now live. Everyone lining up behind the pace truck. It is in. My eagerness to get going was a bit too came a bit too quickly, as Newman now provisional leader. There's a couple of the Alcatech guys. They haven't quite made it around to the back of the patch. You can just see them in the background, but we are green and we are racing here once again from Indianapolis, and it's a bit more of an orderly getaway and a bit more undramatic this time around. Newman leading that pack, and wow, I think everyone's learned a few lessons from that first time, and just electing now to play it a bit more safe, a bit more cooler in these opening stages. The 29 there of Lorbert Leitner. He's remember, he started where he started, but just looking a bit aggressive right now. Well, I say aggressive, but looking a bit more racy. That's probably a bit more better way of putting it.
He's doing a good job. Was working the bottom of the track and making moves. The 73 looks a little squirrely on the outside, so that may be why he's dropping back a bit. Like he's having a little trouble running that outside line. So once they get lined up single file, I think he'll be okay too.
On board with Mark Hutchinson. He didn't do too well at the start. He dropped a couple of places. Still very much heading the game down in 6th place right now. Lovely static shots of everyone flying by, as Charles saying, you see just how close they get to the walls there. And, well, just a bit gutting for Blix and Schnabel that they weren't able to quite catch up onto the back of the pack, ready for the restart. It came close, but it was, well, not quite close enough.
Yes, Schnabel's in much better spot than Blix. Blix is way off the pace, so he's not getting any benefit of the draft. So it's going to be, you know, he's going to be off, and I'm not sure what the gap is as far as in the draft and not in the draft, because once again, as we said, you've got to break the corners, so that draft gets kind of halted until the long straightaways.
Well, I'm just looking at lap times to give a bit of an indication on that one. It's not too bad around here. So Sven Newman last time around, your leader, fastest lap of the race, 53.14. Blitzed at the back of the field, 53.41. So about 3/10 roughly the deficit. But Blix is equally running at about the same sort of pace as Norbert Leitner, who currently lies in 5th and does have the benefit of the draft, albeit he is caught up in traffic. To see Redford there. I tell you what, Redford's seems so he headed into the pits. Came back out in 14th, I believe it was. He came out. He's made good progress. He's back up to where he started in 11th.
Yeah, Redford. I've been watching him this season, and he does really good on the technical track. Not necessarily the road courses, but the technical ovals, where you've got to feather the throttle and work your brake and things like that. And he seems to do really well there. Hasn't had a lot of good luck, obviously, because he's been involved in a couple of incidents and already won today. So, but he seems to have a really good feel for this truck, and he's done a good job, maybe more so than his results show.
I'll use this fact for you, Charles. Did you know that within the perimeter of the speedway, you could fit the lawn tennis clubs of Wimbledon, Rome's Coliseum, the Kentucky Derby course, Yankee Stadium, the Rose Bowl, and the entirety of Vatican City and still have room to spare.
Wow.
This place is that big.
That is that big, you know. I mean, the track distance is the same as Daytona, and Daytona has a lake in the infield. So, so it's yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Indy weekend for the 500 is 400,000 people, similar to what you would see for an F1 weekend. So obviously these people know how to put on some racing, and it's good to watch these trucks.
Actually, that's a bit less because I think this year at Silverstone was the highest year ever for the British Grand Prix, and I want to say that was about 300,000.
Interesting.
Maybe 350 at most. It definitely wasn't as high as 400.
For the entire totality of the weekend?
Yes, it would have. Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's. I mean, one of the things that does help is with these great ovals is, regardless of where you sit, unless you're really right trackside, you can see pretty much the entirety of the course, can't you? I mean, obviously Bristol being the prime example of that, but that's basically a stadium where someone's just shoehorned an oval track inside it. So that's a little bit different. But even the big super speedways, especially if you're really high up, you've got a brilliant view, and hence why all the spotters sit up there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. They'll put the spotters on the top of the grandstands, which gives them a prime view. There's a couple of spots, well, like I said, here, because the track is so flat, it's not like the banked ovals like Daytona and Talladega. So yeah, you get a good view here for about mid part of the grandstand all the way up to the top. You see the entire track, and it's just amazing. It's a sight to behold.
He's on board with Andrew Roos right now. None of the best of starts. He's dropped 3 places. He's down into 4th. And definitely getting held up a little bit right now by Solander, helping his teammate Gunnarsson out in his championship battle and just backing everyone up a little bit. You see on the left-hand side the great highlights against each of the driver names. So Gunnarsson, Solander, Roos, Leitner, Hutchison, Sticks, Halford, Arson, Schnabel. They are all drivers that are in the playoffs. Obviously everyone else that just has normal, regular black backgrounds, a non-playoff driver. So yeah, it just gives you a bit of an indication of where everyone is at. Obviously Schnabel and Halford Arson really that group's starting to fall off a little bit now, and I think that's been shown from the lap times as well, so keep you up to date with those ones. Low 54s for the main peloton packers. There's Sticks making a move on Hutchinson. That's not 6th for Sticks. And yes, so low 54s, so 54-0, 54-1s for this lead group. And then that group at the back, you all got cut adrift. It's looking at like, well, mid-54s for Atkinson and Schnabel. Actually, no, they are still on the tail end of the group, only just, they're clinging on by the skin of their teeth. But those 3 at the back, Halford Arson, Nevery and Blix, mid-55, so they are a second and a half a lap down on everyone else, and that's why they're really getting cut adrift, Charles, aren't they?
I think as we were scrolling back through the field, I think I saw damage on Atkinson on his right front, like he's already kind of put it in the wall again, which obviously is going to hamper his pace. If we can see the right front of this, it kind of looks like he's already done some damage.
Good spot there, Charles. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lovely scrape.
Yep, that is pretty indicative of just taking too much speed through the corner and kind of bouncing it off that outside paper barrier.
Apparently it works very well on the last lap at Martinsville, running around the barrier.
Apparently it does. I don't know that we're going to have anybody try that today.
Well, I'll never say never, I think is the answer to that one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right.
Never say never. I mean, I think it really sort of lends its hands on those short ovals. I mean, no my luck, I'll be one of the drivers where, thanks to the netcode, I get wedged permanently in the barrier after gaining like 5 spots and then end up being like 4 laps down. I know it's a bit impossible on the final lap, but you know what I mean. You get my drift,
yes,
drift and gist.
Absolutely. So I did want to check as you were sitting here talking. So Indy this year had 325,000 people for the 500. So,
but
that
rounding up,
attendance.
to the next 100,000. Yeah, I mean, your 400 was all right.
Yeah. So I mean, what's an extra 75k between friends, right?
Well, negligible. That probably makes up for the amount of beers that were consumed that weekend. It always looks a bit dicey with death, doesn't it? As that's revving up the inside of Spets Muller, and I tell you what, Spets Muller could lose another place there. Just looking back, because Blakesley is going to try and have a bit of a go here. There you go. It's all chopping and changing. So there's Caitlin Hayder, isn't it? Apologies. He's having a slip up the inside in that 56 truck. And that 53 of Spets Muller being this is one of the issues, isn't it? You get forced up high and out wide, and everyone down low just gets such a better drive. It's just being shown there by the 56.
Absolutely.
It's just breezed up the inside.
Yeah, and I think that was Hutchinson's problem earlier. He just got stuck on the outside, and I think maybe even a couple of times he just couldn't get the nose in to the corner the way it needed to. And so he just was running the high line, and yeah, you get somebody, that truck will come under, and it compounds your problem because it kind of gets some of the air off of your vehicle. Oh, as we see one drop down low.
Oh, that is Kilman. Is that the 11 of Kilman on pit road there? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's on the pit exit, which is, I think, which what the Indy uses. I think we use them here also, but. Yeah, I think I don't know if he hit the wall or if he just lost the rear, but he collected the truck without contact of anybody. So that was a good move on his part. So yeah, he just took the escape route and reset and come back and try it again.
Let's take a look at the... Oh, yes.
Off the wall. Yep. But like I said, good job just to keep the truck going in the right direction. Back on pit exit road, and can get back out and keep going. Lost a couple of spots, obviously put some damage on his right front, but is still able to drive and hopefully.
Oh, that's still an arsenal wall. That is, I'm sorry, yeah, Spets Muller. Oh, it goes from bad to worse for the Hungarian driver in that wannabe SRT Chevrolet, because that's more places drop for him as it's a bit further up. This is. Now, Ruse making the move on Solander. Also, you got Pascal Sticks in there as well. So, Sticks in his nose in where it's probably not wanted right now, and Leitner too.
Yeah, Ruse is just methodically working his way. Or just staying, like I say, working his way. He started on pole and dropped, obviously, on the start of the race, but he's just running third. He's doing exactly what he needs to do in order to secure this championship.
One performance we haven't really mentioned so far. Newman. He got to the front early on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just been quietly chipping away, pulling out half a tenth. It seems to be in every corner pretty much. And he's now got a 1.2 second advantage over the rest of the pack. And he's not drafting anyone. He's doing it all on his own merit.
Absolutely, just running a great race. And obviously, we've seen...
Oh, that's in the wall. That's Mark Hutchinson, and that's not helping him. And he said about his day of bad for worse. He got caught up on the high side earlier, and it's, well, rubbing his racing, but that's really not going to help his course today.
No, that's really doing some damage to his aero. Obviously, that's not going to make the truck go any faster by doing that. But yeah, Newman's, I mean... We've seen it over the last few races. Newman has done a great job, has been fantastic on the road courses, and obviously showing some speed. He's put in the work to do a really good job on the here at the Brickyard.
So we look back right now from Solander. He's Norbert Leitner. Wow, Sage just behind us, having a bit of a look there right around the outside, the long way round. Still starting to catch up onto these guys, and you see, I don't know if you just quite clocked. I'm talking about quietly chipping away. That's Redford behind him, that group of three. That's chasing these guys down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's got a nice little running group there. Him and Hayden and Blakesley, and they're just staying in line and working together and maximizing their draft the best they can. And they're starting to make up some track position.
Yeah, a few of these guys could do with a caution right now, couldn't they, to help bunch up the pack once again and, you know, close up some of these gaps. So I know, well, definitely one driver, Newman, well, I said it was a 1.2 second gap earlier. Gunnison has taken 3/10 out of him. It's down to just under a second, but he's pulling away from Ruse, which is crucial for him. 7/10 the advantage between those two. But, you know, the likes of Redford would kill for that right now, especially that group right down at the back who missed the getting onto the back of the train come, you know, at the pit stops early on. Obviously, if they have that first caution on the first lap, if they've fallen further and further back, I mean, they'd love right now to catch up on the back of the pack and get involved in some, you know, real good racing.
Yeah, 37th was just, if he didn't hit the wall, I'm shocked. But I want to say something. We were watching Solander and Leitner, and Solander dropped down to take the inside, and Leitner didn't care and just passed him on the outside, going through turn 3 and 4, and is in front. He's up in P4, which is a pretty bold move, considering the level of difficulty it is to pass on the outside here.
Talking of passing, that's Gunnison now right onto the back of Newman, and I have to wonder, did Newman gamble on there being another caution and has gone too hard too soon on his tyres, and now Gunnison, who played it a bit more safer, is now not just onto the back of him, he's sticking his nose up the inside there. It's forcing Newman wide. I mean, I'll never forget that race. It was Talladega, I believe it was, that Newman just ran it on the high line the whole race long and saved his tyres, and looks like he's gambled, gone for the opposite approach, and well, this is the change for lead. That's Gunnison up the inside, and yeah, I'm wondering whether as Newman's tyres just starting to fall away from him, and that's why Gunnison has made up that 1.2 second disadvantage he had over Newman, and now turn it over to a 0.2 of a second advantage, and there's weaving going along on the front straightaway.
Yeah, they're just trying to hang into the draft there, but yeah, that's the most likely answer to that. I mean, the other answer would be is maybe we didn't see Newman maybe clip the wall and do a little front end damage. I didn't see anything on the right side of his truck that would indicate that.
Funnily enough, you say about that, Charles. I was looking furiously left, right, and centre to try and spot some damage, and I couldn't spot any.
I don't see it either. Yeah, it looks clean. So yeah, the most likely answer is yeah, he just burned his tires out, and now, you know, we're getting to the halfway point of the race, so it might still be okay. He's still obviously battling for the lead. We will be coming up on pit stops here very quickly to finish off the race. So, you know, that may work if he tries it again. He just make him push it out and hold them off at the end of the race.
As you see Newman moving down low, they're just squeezing out. That's Roos. And it's getting rowdy here a little bit as we'll go four. Wow. I was going to say 4 sets of 2, so 2 sets of 2 from the top 4. But Leitner just backing out of it a little bit here, and it's all of a sudden become a bit more treacherous, but this is playing back into Newman's hands as Roos and Gunnison go side by side. They then sort themselves out. Roos now ahead of Gunnison, so that is good for Roos's championship aspirations. Ultimately, he just needs to finish ahead of Pascal Sticks pretty much, who is down in 5th and off the back of this group. He's about 1.3 seconds behind these guys and cut a little bit adrift. I think it'd be open for Newman just to try and back these guys up into him.
Yeah,
but
that'd be the best thing.
Well, Well, I was going to say about around the pit stops, but there we go. We're going to have
Yep.
some green pit stops, and that is Roos in onto the brakes. I think just about got it stopped in time there. A big puff of smoke. Doesn't need to nose tyres anymore, but I mean, you can lose and gain quite a bit of time in the pit stops, can't you, with your approach?
Absolutely, and I think I saw his teammate come in with him. So obviously they're playing a strategy where they're. Oh no, that was Solander. I'm sorry, it was not. It similar looking truck. So thought it might have been his teammate, but it looks like that. Yeah, so he's got help, so he won't lose time by not being in the drafts. He'll have at least a drafting partner as the pit cycle continues. And yeah, Leitner, I was looking at the timing and scoring to see if it was, people getting faster or Newman getting slower. And it was definitely Newman getting slower during that. And then Leitner actually had the fastest lap there for a minute. He was almost a second quicker than Newman a couple of laps ago.
I'll tell you, we're all tripping up over one another. We've got Gunnison, who we're on board with. Redford Sticks, he's in too. And Spetsmiller, I mean, Redford gained a lot of time where he just nailed that pit entry. He closed right up to the back of these guys. There's, ooh, Sticks stopped in his box. Yep. I think he has.
He did, yep. That was close. That was close. He almost slid straight through his box. We get back to Newman, who's still leading and trying to extend this. I think he's hoping now that he'll be the last one, and hopefully it will give him a little bit of advantage on the tires.
Wow. Let's find out if he comes in. He seems to be forever in the throttle. Yeah, he's in. Our leader is in. Leitner carries on, though. Now, that's interesting because Norby Leitner, he didn't stop when we had that caution on the opening lap. Likewise, Kittleman, Atkinson, and Hutchinson all yet to stop. Nevery is yet to stop as well. So those guys looking like they're going to run it in a bit deeper potentially. Ooh, this is going to be interesting to watch out how this is going to all sort itself out and shuffle its way around. As Newman's still in his pit box. This is going to be a bit close. Whether he's going to come back out in the lead, and I'm not sure whether he is.
He's not. Normally,
No, he's still in his pits.
Yep.
There you go. He's got lit at the tyres, but I tell you what, he's lost time there. He's lost time because look, that's Leitner ahead of him.
As we see the 37 and 33 come by on the straightaway. I'm sorry, out of the corner.
So there you go. Look, Sticks has got past Gunnison and Solander. It's as Leitner is in from the lead now. Atkinson in two. Kittleman. I think Kittleman might be going again, and likewise Hutchinson, so that's interesting. So this is the replay of what happened with Sticks, and free wide into turn one. This has got, I'm having deja vu here, but wow. Sneaks it up the inside, gets it done, and that is a crucial move there for Pascal Sticks that he needed to make.
Yeah, it was bold. Yeah, he obviously needs to be in front of Roos to have any chance of winning. So obviously he needs to make up every position he can. As soon as he gets to a car, he needs to just pass him. Look at Roos on the inside there. That was a great move.
The big loser in all that around the pit stops, Newman, from the lead, he's currently down in 11th. I know, now a little bit out of place, obviously. Kittleman, Hutchinson yet to stop. Nevery in 10th is yet to stop. Newman's just gone past him.
It's interesting.
Oh, he did overshoot it. There you go.
Yep. So interesting. I'm sitting there looking at timing and scoring. Hoffa Dawson it looks like stationary for only 5 seconds.
That's right. So yes, he hasn't pitted. He obviously pitted under the caution. Yeah. So he's going to be due again. He obviously would have topped up with fuel, but not by much, realistically. It would have been a lap. Well, technically too, because you've got the pace lap and obviously the, the lap that they completed in inverted commas, obviously, albeit it was under caution. Same scenario for Lennart Schnabel, who was 4th, now 5th. Sticks got past him. Actually, as Gunnarson's passed too. There's Kittleman in.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say, I think that, the fuel that they have in the truck is about half of the race. I think is what we've seen, maybe a little bit further. It's generally speaking a rule of thumb that it's 2 laps under yellow for every lap of racing. So, if we had 3 caution laps, they can go probably up to around lap, 28 to 30, safely without having to worry about it. As we've seen, with Halfa Dawson, who came in and took fuel, so he can even extend a little bit further because he's taken on fuel when he got his when he took his fast repair. So, so obviously he'll be coming in very soon and giving up that lead. And then we'll have Roos and Sticks as our front runners for the remainder of the race. So that should be very interesting to watch. And Sticks has got a little bit of work to do to catch up because you think he's 4 seconds down. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can make up that ground or not.
So there's Halford Darton into pit road. So he drops down. And that completes the round of pit stops pretty much. Yes, it does. For absolutely everyone. Actually, no, Schnabel will need to drop in again, I believe. But your order with 18 to go. Roos leads from Sticks. And a healthy margin as well, 3.9 seconds. Gunnarsson third, Leitner fourth. Then it's Newman who has made his way back up. Despite obviously that issue in his pit stop where he missed his pit box, had to reverse. He's back, picked himself up, dusted himself down. That Salander he's just got past. He's headed it on the back of this little free car train, and they are, well, they're not far from closing up onto the back of Leitner and Gunnarsson, who are just ahead of them. Sticks, well, he's obviously a little bit further forward. Redford, obviously, he is 8th. Smuller 9th. Schnabel is still in pits, but he's just come in, funnily enough, so he's going to fall down through. Atkinson, Hutchison, Kittleman, Blix, Blakesley, Halford and Nevery is 1 lap down. He's only just been lapped by our leader, Roos. It's all very spaced out. I don't want to tempt fate here, Charles, but so that is Leitner getting past Gunnarsson there. 29 over the 33. Is with how spaced it is, out it is right now, this could go green to the end potentially.
It absolutely could. I only see one real battle, as Sam saying, commentators curse, which we're good at.
Oh, we are. We've had some howlers this season, haven't we?
Yeah, we really have. So
and in the GT Americas too, to boot.
Yeah.
So it's not just we're biased to one series.
No, absolutely not. No, equal opportunity cursing. There's only one real battle. I mean, Leitner and Gunnarsson are about half a second. Leitner looks like he's closing up the gap to Sticks. Hayden and Solander are, 3 or 4 tenths apart. So those are really the only real battles from about 7 up to 1. Everybody else is just kind of, stretched out. They're running their pace. It'd be interesting to see if Redford can make up any ground. Obviously, he was running pretty well at the beginning of the race. So we'll just kind of watch. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be any catastrophe will be of the ricochet variety as people are bouncing off the wall and collecting other vehicles. So it doesn't look like there's going to be any real contact between cars, I don't think. No.
It's looking relatively safe right now. Roos still maintaining that lead up front as Newman. Well, I tell you what, he's reinvigorated after that round of pit stops. So that's Gunnarsson, who's actually almost in reverse as Caden Hayter just says, well, if you're going to be offline and lose a bit of speed, I'll happily take a place off you while they're going. And she slips that 56 up the inside of Gunnarsson in that 33 truck right now, who's practically in reverse. He's dropping places left, right, and centre, and now falling off these two as they've made their way through. We have 14 to go. Nuts is Andrew Roos in the back. Wow, that's him trying to come past some traffic. That is Schnabel ahead of him. Who has it on much fresher tyres, and that's
Schnabel
not
just
really.
came out of the pits.
This isn't helping his cause right now because Halford Darson as well. He's on slightly fresher tyres as well. He stopped on lap 30, Roos on 24, so he's got 6 lap newer tyres. Well, actually, technically that's 7 because he's just been lapped, so it's, well, it's getting a bit tricky and treacherous here.
Yeah, Hopper Dawson's got damage on the right front though. He does have a little, you know, the scrape down the side. And it looked like his hood was bent a bit, so his arrow's a bit off. So even with fresher tires, I'm not sure that that's going to be enough to keep him from going a lap down to Roos.
So let's have a bit of a mention of another one. Well, things just settled down quickly. Mention of another one of our sponsors, SDK Gaming. If you're looking to add a live HUD to iRacing, utilize it to show enhanced relative boxes, mini maps, and fuel calculators, which you can also use to help to adjust your team strategy on the fly. Also, you can use it to stream your broadcast, your leagues, like we do for all of our broadcasts here, Apex Racing TV. So it allows you to sync up your commentary team's cameras with the producers and focus on the driver that you're currently meant to be looking at. As mentioned about the strategy element, it's absolutely godsend with that fuel calculator, and also the most accurate live timing on software. It comes with a 14-day free trial. Make sure you check out SDK Gaming as well. Leitner, that is a move, the 29 there, over Pascal Sticks, I do believe.
Yeah, that's right. It was over Sticks, and yeah, Leitner obviously has got a great deal of pace in this race. He's doing a great job, and he's actually tracking down Roos. The gap's down under 2.5 seconds, so they've made up a second to second and a half on Roos since we were talking about this a couple laps ago.
Have, haven't they? It's, I do wonder with Roos whether it was where he got caught in that bit of traffic when he's trying to make his way past Halford Darson, and you know, just caught around there, and Schnabel was obviously just ahead of him, still is just ahead of him, which is actually helping Roos a little bit now. It's giving him someone to draft with, which he's lacked for quite a while now. You see the stint length and strategy that's happening on the right hand side of your screen right now. So you see, Caitlin Haydock, she made 10 places. That is a great result for the American of RSR and that Chevrolet at number 56. Also, Redford been picking up places after being involved in that. I mean, of all those cars, well, all those trucks, say officially caught up in that first quarter, first lap incident, which brought out the yellow, our only yellow so far with 11 to go. He's the only one who's been able to make it work. All of the others have struggled. Blix, Blakesley, Halford Darson and Schnabel, they're all sort of like languishing down the back of the field.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Hayden because she had a couple of good runs this season that just didn't work out for her, where she was up in the front trying to contend for at least for a podium, not necessarily for the win, but for a podium, and just got caught up and just, you know.
She had that really good run at, was it Talladega or Charlotte? I think it was
Talladega. I thought it was Charlotte. I thought it was,
yes.
it was Charlotte, but yeah, so just didn't work out. So yeah, if she can end up with a top 5, that'll be a good way for her to finish off the season on a strong note.
As we on board with person in question, 56 of Caitlin Hayden, RSR by butt kicker.
Yeah, I was just kind of sitting here thinking about Roos, and maybe he's not pushing to his maximum, trying to conserve tires for the end of this race, knowing that he's got a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a cushion, that maybe he's just not pushing as hard as he can. So hopefully, if the need arises, he can push a little harder toward the end. Because, you know, his championship rival is 2 spots behind him, so it only takes one real mistake to change the end result here.
But that's the thing, he's got time on his side, hasn't he? He's got that half, well, up until around about 5 or 6 laps ago. He's enjoying these brilliant shots right now. it was around about, 3.5 seconds. Okay, I know he's dropped 2 seconds out of it, but he doesn't need to worry. He's got that time on his side. He's got that advantage. He can just go easy on the tyres and then worry about it when he needs to. I mean, Norbert Leitner's still got to clear Halford Darson, which we've seen. It's not that easy to even get past lap traffic around here, let alone someone you're racing with. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, and this is really in Ruse's favour.
It is in his favor currently, but you know, if he's using his SDK Gaming, then he's watching that gap shrink, and he's starting to get a little worried about it. Even with 8 laps to go, and like I said, it only takes one little bobble coming out of the corner, and you're scraping the wall, and now you're really behind the 8 ball for the end of this.
Lovely segue there, brilliant. I love that little promotion. Man after my own heart there.
There we go.
Gonna be done. Is on board with Norbert Leitner. And you can see the roadblock that he's sort of faced with. I mean, Ruse is... It's that agonising distance, isn't it? You can see him. You can nearly reach out and touch him. Raise a few cars up. And oh, that was nearly in the wall there, wasn't it?
Yeah. He a little understeer from the truck in front. The nose kind of just pushed out from under him, and he had to let up. And I think he's actually got pace on that truck that's in front. He needs to get by. He just needs to get by and go right here. Yeah.
There you go. I know you like driving sports cars, Charles. You know, whether it be GT3 or LMP2. If these trucks had lights on them, I know, and it was you driving, I know full well you'd be utilising that flash lights button to the absolute max light now. The
headlights would be flashing basically the entire lap. Just get out of my way, let me go. Let's do a little brush. Is that the 56?
Yeah, that's Hayden. Yeah, I just had a bit of a... Looking at it, I think it might have been a bit of a netcode brush. I think she's got away with one there, because if she came past with that camera angle, I couldn't see anything on the front right. Any damage, any scrapes, and she's got a nice black paintwork. There you go.
Yep, there you go.
She's got away with that.
Absolutely. Sometimes the netcode giveth and the netcode taketh away, right? So, yeah. So
yes.
She's looking down. I think she wants to look down and get past Newman to get up a little bit closer, because she's also closing that gap up to the front also. She's under 5 seconds. And, a few laps ago, she wasn't anywhere that close. I think it was 6.5 to 7. So she's running really well, and I think she wants more.
So look back from Ruse. He's pulled out a little bit of an advantage over Leitner. Too much still toying with it. Between himself and Leitner is Michael Halford Darson. He's just acting a bit of a rear gunner right now, I do believe. Yes, it is. There he is. And well, he's got time. It's running out, Charles. We've got 5 to go. Now, I know that's about 12.5 miles around here, but Ruse just needs to bring this one home. That was Caitlin Hayden.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was another one of those where the rear end kind of got a little loose, and she had to come way down the track to catch that truck and get it back in line.
And there's a few people. Well, if you're Norbert Leitner, you've been praying that she had to hit the pit entry wall and brought out a yellow.
Right.
Equally, if you're Andrew Ruse, you'd be praying that she collects it like she does and carries on, because, well, it's all getting a bit angst in the midfield here. So that's Sven Newman making a bit of an aggressive move there, and Caitlin Hayden, well, despite that slight issue, now back onto applying the pressure. That's the massive just cleared Jason Nevry there. Yeah, falls further down the field, unfortunately for him. So we've got 3 to go here in Indy. 2 more laps until we see old Barney there waving the white flag with lots of vigour And well, let's have a little bit of a reminder of where we're at in the championship. And, well, it's pretty much all good for Ruse now. Don't need to worry too much. His closest rival, Pascal, sticks down in third. 4 seconds down the road with 3 laps left remaining here at Indianapolis. I'm surprised we've gone this long without a caution.
Yeah,
Charles.
It's been a great race.
It has.
You know, we talked about this, you know, before the broadcast, and I was not expecting this race to go green for, you know, 40 to 45 laps, and these drivers have just done a great job. I mean, really on top of it. You know, they've had to make saves. Now, of course, there was a couple in the wall. We had the one accident. But overall, it's been a really, really fun race as we see Leitner going down below Hoffman-Dawson to try and get that behind him so he can focus in. The gap's now to a 1.1 between first and second. So he's looking for this last couple of lap sprint to the end.
I mean, he needs to make up about half a second a lap. Wow. This 1.1 second basically on the lap, because they're coming out at turn 4 right now. And they're going to take the white flag, which is going to mean 1 to go. And Bruce, he can play it safe. It doesn't need to push. There we go. They're going to come across the line. White flag is being waved. And this is it. 1 lap left, 2.5 miles.
Yeah, 2 tenths down the front straight.
That is 2 tenths. I mean, no. Roos is going to get... I don't want to put curse come to him. But there you go. He's done 2 turns. He's got 1.25 miles to go now. I mean, I've seen a lot of strange things during the commentary time, and I mean, surely this can't be another one. This will be up there with the best, including the guy that was weaving, celebrating down the back straight in Monza, and then disconnected 100 meters before the finish line to take the victory. But Bruce is going to take it. He's going to take the victory here and take the win at Indianapolis and crown himself champion of ARL Trucks. Congratulations. Take a bow. Andrew Roos. Leitner comes home in second. Sticks is third. Wow. What a race it has been. Caution on lap 1. We all had the feeling it was going to be one of those races where that might set the tone of what things were going to be to come. But no, we went green all the way from there. What a race it has been.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Great job by Roos. Didn't necessarily need the win, but obviously that's the safest place to be, is up front. So pole sitter takes the win. Is that the first time this season?
Yes. I think it is. I think this first time on the ovals it is. Yes.
Okay. First time on the ovals.
Yes. Yes, because Newman. No, we had Blix took pole position at Road America, I think. At the end,
Newman at Watkins Glen. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, but even on the ovals, it is definitely. I mean, it looked like it was a record that was going to be broken all season, but they managed it. And also, I'm just having a quick scan through. No, it's not the clean sweep. I thought it was going to be the clean sweep there. But there's the celebratory donuts. Well, he might have got the fastest lap as well, and that's within the first time we'd had that done. Wow.
No, actually, as you go back and look at time and Storm, Caitlin Hayden actually had the fast lap, 53.01.
Oh, yeah? Oh, mate, what a drive from her.
Yeah.
10 places, started right down the back, you know, penultimate, well, on the last complete row, and ends up bringing home 5th.
Yeah,
got helped out by the early caution, she avoided it, but even so, I mean, drove her way, a brilliant race, and it's like you say, Charles, she's had some great races all season, but just, you know, luck hasn't been on her side, and then, well, final race of the season, it all comes together.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a great job by Roos, and great job by everybody in the field. We've had some races that didn't go great, But everybody just stuck in there and drove and looked like ever. I saw a lot of performance boosts from the drivers. It just seemed like they got better and better as the season went along, and obviously Roos top of the board, so he's going to be very happy about that. Leitner, obviously, great result. I know Newman's probably kicking himself for not making it into the playoffs because he's just been on fire the second half of the season, and would have been a challenger, for the championship.
Ah, definitely. And they have your confirmed race results. Roos takes the final victory of the season. Leitner in second sticks. Rounding out your podium, Sven Newman, the first of the non-playoff drivers. Great drive from him. Obviously, went around America as well, and a bit of luck has surveilled him all season long, so some brilliant drives. He's got a pole twice so far this season, and well, it's that start that definitely helped him. Caitlin Hayter, great drive from us. We mentioned up 10 places from home fifth. Then it's Gunnarsson, Solander, Spitzmiller, Kilman, and Redford rounding out your top 10. A good drive from Redford too, after visiting the pits on the first lap, after being caught up in the accident that caused the caution. Kilman, he's up 4 as well, so it was a good drive from him too. Scarlett Atkinson, she comes home in 11th. With Blix 12, Schnabel and Blakesley, last drivers finish on the lead lap in 13th, 14th respectively. Then Halfordarson, Hutchison and Nevery all finishing 1 lap down in 15th through to 17th. Wow, let's have a bit of a chat, shall we, to some of our drivers. And what better way to kick things off than with our race winner and our champion for this season, Andrew Roos. Congratulations. Tell us about that race, because that was not quite as easy as what the history books may show from the race result.
Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, it was the perfect race for me, but the first stint was a little bit more exciting than I would have wished so, because the guys in front of me did a fantastic fight, I enjoyed watching it. I tried to stay away from it. I tried to choose the lines to give more space to the guys, and don't go free wide, and etc, etc. But I had a strategy from the start that I should pit at half distance, and there was a yellow flag at the beginning of the race, but I stuck to my strategy, and it worked out at the end. I'm really happy because it was not an easy year. I made a lot of mistakes, but I think everybody made a lot of mistakes. You can see with the playoff bonus points that I think someone carried 4 bonus points, but not many. And after that, I thought, okay, we just reset for the playoff, and it went perfectly.
I most certainly did, and talk about that at the start, that 3 wide was. I mean, we have an expression in UK, your heart being in your mouth, where something's like really nervous and you're like praying that nothing's going to happen. From your perspective, were you okay with it, or were you just a bit scared that it was all going to go wrong in front of you and you were going to get caught up in it?
No, I mean, I know these guys, they are very aggressive, but very fair. So I knew that the inside, I think, was Neumann, and the outside was maybe Gunnarsson. So I left. I knew I was gonna leave enough space for Neumann, and I knew I was gonna leave enough space for Gunnarsson. So it was pretty fair. I have to say, I didn't check the restart zone. And I was waiting for the KPH. For me, we are in a matrix system, so I was waiting for the KPH to flash up, that how speedy should I go, and it never showed up. So yeah, I know because this is a new track and NASCAR don't go here anymore. So yeah, I know now. but it was a bit of a confusing start for sure. But it was very fair racing. So hats off to the guys.
Definitely. Well, we'll let you go. Before we do, Andrew, anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast for the whole year. You did a great job, and of course my teammate Richard and my old teammate Norbert. We practiced the whole year together. I don't know who finished third in the championship. You know, guys, Gunnarsson or Leitner.
I'm not sure on that one right now. We'll see if we can. I'm sure Sam's probably working in the background, or producer Sam's trying to work that one out. I know it was close between the pair of them, so I'm not too sure who's come out on top in that one. We'll see if we can bring that one to you shortly. But well, we'll let you go off to go and enjoy and celebrate your win. That's Andrew Roos of Wannabe SRT, who not only won today, but also took the championship as well.
Thank you,
Charles. Well, Charles, it's been an absolute crazy season. Started all the way back at the start of September at Daytona. And we've really bookended it with two epic classic oval circuits with, wow, loads of great circuits sprinkled and intermingled in between. I mean, but what a drive from Roos, and equally, I mean, you got to feel for Newman, who, if it hadn't been for that one mistake where he overshot his pit box, it could have been him on the winner step today.
Absolutely. But, you know, Roos was in control, being the championship leader coming in. So he knew what he had to do. He just had to be, he didn't have to necessarily beat Newman, but he had to be close to Newman. But to get the win in the last race, obviously, is a big deal. It helped him secure the championship. And he just, second half of the season has been just right up front. Every race has done a fantastic job. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to everybody. It was a really good season. I really enjoyed doing the broadcasts.
Oh, likewise. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you. And right, we will round things out. And a bit of a message for our final sponsor. We didn't get a chance really because of all the action and lack of cautions. It's Apex Racing Academy with their 29 data packs, setups, track guides. They also have integration with our other sponsor, Virtual Racing School. To provide weekly group coaching sections and much more. So look out for those guys. Apex Racing Academy, check them out. Help that, use those guys to help you go faster out on track. But wow, what a season it has been. We've had drama, we've had excitement, and plenty of cautions in between. But tonight it was just the one, and we went green for near enough the entirety of the race. Congratulations, Andrew Roos, your championship winner, winning it today as well. What a way to round out the season. What a season it's been. From Sam Spitch, Charles Bashal, and myself, Tim Cox. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you soon here at Apex Racing TV.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.